Hi, I'm Brian from Atomic-Moto, and I'm here to do our review of the Forma Adventure Boots. We have a long history with these boots. We've been selling them since, I think, 2011. I actually had one of the pre-production pairs to test. I used them on the Oregon Backcountry Discovery Route OG version back in 2010, as you can see in this photo. But let me start with the basics of it. Now, first of all, it comes in size 5 US or 38 EU, all the way up to a size 14 US or 49 EU. Now, note that we have a slightly different conversion from EU to USA than Forma USA uses. It affects sizes 47, 12 and a half, and over. If you have any questions about it or those are your sizes, give us a call and we'll explain them to you. It comes in two colors, this oil tan brown and also an oil tan black. It weighs 2.64 pounds for this size 44 that you see here in front of me on our Bomber certified scale. And it sells for $299 as of the filming of this video. Last but not least, the Forma Adventure is made in Romania. Let me cover the construction of the Forma Adventure. Now, it starts with an oil tan leather, which you can see here. It has a really nice finish to it. Feels really good. Looks good on an adventure touring bike. It has Forma's Dry-Tex waterproof liner, which means it will keep you dry in rainstorms and in standing water up to the top of the gaiter, which I'll try to show you here in 1 second. Up to this height. It's about 8 inches. And again, that is Forma's Dry-Tex liner. It has a 1-year warranty on that. It has 3 buckles. Forma's buckles are excellent. They're very easy to use. They have lots of adjustment. They are easy to replace, although I doubt you would ever need to because, again, they're quite durable. It has a plastic shin plate here on the front. It has 2 cup-shaped inserts here over the malleolus on the inside and the outside of the ankle. Has a shifter pad on both boots. Obviously, you only need the one on the left side, but it does give it a little bit of rigidity there. A little buckle protector here, an insert, a hard insert underneath the leather here in the toe, and then another hard insert here in the back as a heel counter. It's about 14 inches tall, measured from inside of the boot to the top of the gaiter. And then one of the unique features about the Forma Adventure, if you look at this right here in the photos that we're going to drop in, you see the sole pattern on this. It's a bonded sole, glued on sole, but it has a pattern very similar to a hiking boot. It looks, and actually when you're wearing it and walking around in it, it feels a lot like a hiking boot. It's got a nice little step here at the heel. That's good for short-legged people. And the boot has a fair amount of flex at the forefoot, and that gives it a very natural walking motion. That's one of the other really important characteristics about this boot, and I'll touch upon that a little bit more later, but that's the construction. Fit is a very important topic. Everybody who's buying online wants to know that. The fit of this boot is super wide. It is one of the widest boots we sell. First of all, because it is wide, as you see here in these images, but also there's a fair amount of vertical height. If you look at the toe box of this, there's a fair amount of vertical height. And for several reasons, vertical height actually improves the fit on people that have wide feet. So this is one of the best boots that we sell, one of the best offerings for wide feet. In fact, when someone calls this, hey, I can't fit anything else, this is one of the ones that we look to. The other thing about it is that the shaft of the boot is fairly slim. This boot is not very large around the upper calf circumference, and that means it's easy to get casual pants, or especially riding pants are super easy to go over this, but it's often easy to get casual pants. In my case, a boot cut jean or a Carhartt fits on this very easily, and it will for you too. The protection level of this boot is something that I really want to explain. Now, this boot is more touring than adventure touring. It's quite soft. It doesn't have a lot of protection. So it's good for maybe 80% road, 20% off-road or above that. In fact, Forma says that this is a boot for light touring and not for serious adventure touring or dual sport. So the point of that is that it feels really comfortable, but it's pretty soft. It's a little bit on the light side. Not so bad in the case of Forma the brand, because they have another model in their line, the Terra Evo, that is aimed more at riders looking for that extra level of protection for the adventure touring category. This is, though, aimed at people that are doing lots of walking off the motorcycle, that really are prioritizing comfort, that want a soft, kind of easy to use boot that has that familiar feel of your hiking boots. Our summarizing comments on this. Again, the story about this is that it is aimed at the rider, the motorcycle rider, that wants a boot that feels like a hiking boot, but has motorcycle-specific features such as toe protector, buckles, a taller height, waterproof construction, and a good sole that has some rigidity on the pegs. As I mentioned before, it has a lot of flex at the forefoot, but the area underneath the arch of the boot where you would stand on the pegs, that is reinforced and quite sturdy. And for that intended use at that intended design brief, if you will, this is about the best executed product that we've seen in the market. In fact, several other brands are basically knocking this thing off because it just sort of nailed that customer and has been very successful. This is the #1 selling adventure touring boot in the United States. And the comfort of it is something that I can't really overstate. The ability to just flex the toe and have that normal walking motion instead of a stiffer boot where you're kind of rolling up a little bit. That's something that's that's muscle memory that we've acquired over years of walking around in regular shoes. It does lack protection that more off-road oriented adventure touring riders seek or sometimes unwittingly need. And that's something that not a lot of other dealers, a lot of other resellers do a good job of explaining. You know, again, we like to say you should wear as much booting as you're willing to tolerate. And if you're going to spend a lot of time off-road, do more serious adventure touring, then you should look for something like the Forma Terry Evo or several other models too. But if you are doing, again, light adventure touring or touring, in fact, this is a great touring boot if you're on a BMW RT. If you're doing that kind of riding or you light adventure touring 80/20 or greater, this is a spectacular choice. The fit of it is great. The comfort of it is fantastic. The walking motion is very familiar. It's waterproof. It's very lightweight, as I mentioned, 2.64 pounds. And Forma builds a great boot. You know, they're not the household name that that some of the other brands are, like Guarantee CD, Alpine Stars. But these guys, they build a great boot, and they're very underrated. And we really like their brand and their products. And so, with that, I'm going to wrap up our review of the Forma Adventure Boot 2023 version. We are www.atomic-moto.com, home of the bombers. And we hope to see you somewhere riding out on your motorcycle.